We are going to begin this half hour with our exclusive with Billy Bush, opening up for the first time in a TV interview about that Access Hollywood tape with Donald Trump that was released a month before the election and led to Billy being fired from his job. Well, he is now speaking out about all the fallout that he has faced. Here we are 7 months later. You're unemployed. Donald Trump is president of the United States. That must be a thought that has crossed your mind.
I can acknowledge that the irony is glaring. It certainly has crossed my mind.
Geez, your girl's hot as in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
This conversation, recorded in 2005, captures then reality show megastar Donald Trump and Access Hollywood host Billy Bush in the middle of a graphic and lewd exchange.
You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Who was the first?
Billy made a name for himself as the co-host of Access Hollywood for 15 years, rubbing elbows with Hollywood elite. And last summer, Billy made the jump to morning TV, his dream job as a co-host of The Today Show. But on October 7, 2016, his career came to a screeching halt when the now infamous tape was released, and he was fired. Do you believe you should have lost your job over this?
Based upon the moment that is on that tape, I understand people's reaction. I agree. I also felt that way. We live in a visual and digital age, so we get this video, this moment, and we react emotionally to it. And then you have social media and the ability to respond in real time, and a flame becomes a bonfire very, very quickly.
Have you had any conversations with Donald Trump since the release of the tape?
No, there was no relationship there. It was work-related, and I interviewed him multiple times, especially back then. He never reached out, and I didn't reach out.
Melania felt, as she said, you egged him on.
He was lead on, like egg on, from the host to say dirty and bad stuff.
Would you agree with that you added to the conversation?
I definitely added to the conversation by, I was keeping the ball in the air. With Trump, it's not much of a give and take, and I remember this moment, when he said what he said at the end, to me it was more braggadocio, his word, and performance. If I had ever thought, I like to think, that there was a grown man sitting in front of me detailing his sexual assault strategy, I would have called the FBI.
There were reports that you knew about the tape and you were talking about it months beforehand.
I only talked about it with people who knew prior. I reported it as soon as it happened. I said, you wouldn't believe the things that Trump was saying, off camera.
Wait a minute, you reported that tape way back?
Yeah, sure. As soon as it was done, when I was recounting what happened, I said, yeah, when the camera left, this is what the conversation was. And it was told me days later, well, that was on. The camera was rolling. There's audio of all that. I said, oh my gosh, wow. But I never thought about it again. I just went on. It was Trump. It was an inconsequential, he wasn't running for president. He was, he was at the time the biggest star on television.
What was it like for you to go back home after the tape had been released, to face your daughters, your wife? What was that moment like for you?
My now 16-year-old daughter called me, and she was in tears. And she was really upset, and I said, Mary, it's going to be okay, don't worry. And she said, no. Why were you laughing at the things that he was saying on that bus? Why were you playing along with that? It wasn't funny.
It must be one thing, Billy, for a stranger to feel that way, but for your daughter to ask you why.
She said, why were you in that moment? Why were you participating in that? I said, I'm sorry. She didn't want to hear any explanations, just, I'm sorry. I had never listened to that tape, Robin, and until just days before the rest of the world got it. And I recoiled. I said, oh my gosh, because for me, I remember the guy on the other side. And I can tell you, 12 years ago, it was my first year as co-host of the show, but I was I was insecure. I was a pleaser. I kind of remember wanting these celebrities to like me so that I could keep going in this job.
What did your wife say to you?
She was very understanding of the atmosphere and the environment, you know, of that time. And she knows very well the man she married and who I am. So she was supportive the whole way through. In fact, up until 5 minutes ago, we were on the phone before I drove up here.
Billy is no stranger to the public eye as a reporter and a member of the Bush family. You're almost 34 at the time. I understand what you're saying about wanting to prove yourself, but there are some people that said you're old enough and you've been around enough. I mean, your last name is Bush. You have been worldly more so than most people.
For sure.
So
I should have known better, absolutely. There's no question about that. I look back and I wish people also say you should have stopped him. But I didn't have the strength of character at the time to do that. I wish I did.
did you reach out to your colleague Nancy O'Dell at all and apologize?
I sent a message, yeah, private message, yeah.
At the time, Trump was about to make a soap opera cameo with the guidance of soap opera star Ariane Zucker.
Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the bus.
Like a little
Okay,
hug, darling?
absolutely.
A
Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
Bushy.
okay.
I just got off the bus.
The point, Billy, that people drew the line is when you said, don't you want to hug the Donald? Don't you have a hug from him? After hearing him say those things,
Yeah.
that is when people were like, oh, come on. It's one thing
Yes.
to agree with him and can understand that, but can you understand how people are like, no?
Listen, nobody reacted harsher and more gutturally than I did. I say, you know, imagine a woman is watching that and she thinks, is that what happens to me when I walk out of a room or out of a meeting? I'm being sized up in some way. I understand that.
How do you convince some people who are going to say, you just want your job back? You just want to get back on TV?
I can tell you that I am only ready to get back to work now because there is purpose and there is clarity and there is acceptance and there is a changed person. I do feel like a better man. I feel like a better father, partner, friend, and I do think better at my job than I ever was.
What would you say to a young man in particular entering this field?
Believe in yourself, be confident, do not doubt yourself. Stay true to who you are. And I think I sacrificed, you know, my own dignity in that moment. I was very pleased to say goodbye to that guy.
And Billy has spent the last 7 months doing a lot of soul searching. He now meditates, practicing mindfulness. Yoga has also helped him. He knows it's a process which led him to be ready and able to share his story. And guys, you know that I was hesitant about doing the interview when I was first approached about it, and because I knew many people would feel there was a chance to be, it was going to be critical of the president. That was not the intent nor the purpose why Billy Bush wanted to sit down with me. He wanted to be able to explain his actions. Remember, he was suspended and then fired before he could publicly apologize. He made no excuses. He just wanted to explain who he was then and explain who he is now.
And so what does he want to do now?
He wants to, he loves his job. He wants to get back in TV, makes no bones about that. But he wants to do purposeful, meaningful reporting and interviewing. He said he was at a Tony Robbins seminar, and Tony pointed to him to the audience and said, one bad moment does not define who you are. And the whole crowd reacted, and so I got chills just thinking about it. So he wants to be able to find people who, remember how I say everybody's got something? Everybody's made a mistake, and what do you learn from that, and what do you share, and that's what he's hoping to do.
And he thinks it'll make him better at that.
He does. He thinks it'll make him a better reporter. He also used a phrase that my mom said, make your mess your message, and that's what he's attempting to do with this.
And I'm watching you with him, and I've had a chance to spend time with him before and after, and I got to say, he's very sincere in what he said there, and that's the same feeling I got when I spent time with him
There
after the
is
incident.
a genuineness there.
There was a lot in there.